It's in motion.
How's it going, Exiles? My name is Ralph, and today I wanted to talk about leveling, and PoE specifically, getting to max level 100. The reason I bring this up is because Havoc just got level 100 in Hardcore Parandus, and Hardcore Parandus came out on the 4th, and he got it on the 11th. So, we're talking 7 days. It took him a week to get level 100, and to me that's mind-blowing, because, well, I've followed the game since closed beta, since open beta, since the game released, all this and all that. Some of you may not think it's a big deal, but it's really striking to me because getting level 100 hasn't always been that simple. I actually was looking through very old stuff. I looked at an old interview of Kriparian interviewing the lead developer of Grinding Gear Games at Grinding Gear Games, Path of Exile, Chris Wilson. Watched an old interview with them, and they had a little clip where they're talking about getting level 100, and yes, the clip is from 2012, and some of you may say, well, that's not valid information, that's 2012, the game is different, the game is better now, and, you know, all this and all that, but still, if you don't think it's valid information, if you don't think it's relevant because it's from 2012 or because it's old or whatever, it's still at least interesting to see how far the game has come and how much it has changed. So let's check out the video, the interview.
The other thing on my list here is getting to level 100. So I know it's eventually possible, but right now it's kind of a daunting task, seeing as you have to do something like 1,000 level 60 maps or something at level 85, just something crazy. But is it something you expect people to achieve anytime soon, or how does that work with the implementation of Act 3? Is it going to get easier? Is it going to get possible? And yeah. Well, I got a few more questions about it, but go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I was saying it does get a bit easier with Act 3 because obviously there's higher level content.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we looked at the rates that the top people are playing at the moment, you know, the guys who have hit 85, and we extrapolated it out, and we've come up with a rough back-of-the-envelope calculation of how many months it would take, using the same kind of maps they're using, to get to level 99 or 100 after release. And we ideally want it that for people who want to continue leveling up, there's a whole bunch they can do. You know, they could spend like a year on their character. But we don't want it so it's, say, 5 or 10 years, because no one's ever going to achieve that. Or one person might, and that's not particularly fun. And I don't have the table in front of me of how many months it is, but I've heard people say, for example, that they think they can be level 91 within a month of release. And of course then 92 is a bit harder, and 93 is harder still. But I expect we'll be seeing people in the mid-90s, you know, within the first 6 or 9 months of the game coming out. And we think it's important that there is this granularity there, because it helps distinguish between the different tiers of no-lifers, and that's really important. I mean, once you've spent a year playing a game on one character, you really want people to know that it kind of sucks if everyone caps out at the max level in a few days.
Mm-hmm. Is that going to like change when there's like Act 4, like even slightly, or are you guys going to try to keep the balance steady from the pace that Act 3 started it?
This is a question that we asked like a week into the project. What do we do when we introduce an additional act? And we have never found a good solution, because I really hate the idea of putting in a new act that's higher levels that just invalidates everyone else's work. I mean, like when I was playing World of Warcraft and a new expansion comes out and all my old items are worthless, it's just such a bad feeling. And because of that, I mean, this is not a firm decision at all, so don't quote me on it, you 3,000 people, but, you know, I personally feel that having the new act parallel to the current end of the game would be more suitable, but this is something we don't have to deal with until Act 4 is being balanced, and that's only in concept stage at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tricky one, because you can't go the opposite way, and you can't make it so the new content becomes harder to level your character, so the people who are already leveled there have, you know, a like very, very strong advantage.
Yeah, I think by then we'll have a better idea of what PoE actually is like a year after release and what direction it's gone in. It might be that, you know, for some reason we make the PvP really awesome, or maybe the leagues really take off and we're running 50 of them a day, and in that case we can tailor the new content to be appropriate for that.
Wow. So they were talking about getting level 100, or Chris was talking about getting level 100 in a year's time, almost a year. And he said, he talked to people who were playing the game at the max level, doing the highest maps and that sort of thing, and they were saying that at release they could get mid 90s or level 90 within a couple months or within the first month. And now you think about where the game is, and it's 7 days. And I'm not saying that, oh, the game used to be better back then, like, everything used to be better back in the day. No, I'm not saying that. Desync was also around back in the day. Desync was gone in Awakening that far into the game's life, which is mind-blowing. The game has gotten better over time. But that's not to say that everything that has happened is necessarily the best. I think it's great that people can achieve level 90. I think it's good that I love being able to have level 90 builds, get access to a level 90's worth of passive skill points. I love that, because as you get more passive skill points, you can really push it with the kind of weird builds you do, because you can get so far across the tree. I like that is possible, and I don't play all day every day. I'd love to, but I don't. And I know, like, streamers and racers, they do that. And of course, they're going to get it in 7 days. Of course, you could use this defense like, well, you can't balance the game around the top percent. Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying maybe it should take a little bit longer to get 100. And it doesn't even have to be start at level 90. You could just have the curve get stupidly steep at like level 95 or something. Those 5 skill points aren't going to mean a lot to people who don't play all day every day. Is this something that you think would be better for the game if there was this grind here? Because right now there just isn't the grind. The grind is a 7-day process, yes, for some of the best racers, and you shouldn't balance on the top percent. But still, if you could get level 90 in the same speed that you do now, or like level 95 in the same speed that you do now, and just have this extra 5 levels after it that was crazy hard to get, would you have a problem with that? Would that really affect your enjoyment of the game if there was this crazy long, race? I love it. I remember back in the day checking the hardcore ladder, and months had gone by in the open beta or whatever, and I was like, wow, no one is level 100 on hardcore yet. This is amazing. This game is crazy. It's the real deal, It was going to be this legendary goal that very few could achieve. And now it's not like that. Do you think it's better as this sort of mini 1-week race every time they have a ladder reset? Because obviously that's all it takes now. It takes a week. Or, should they tack on just an extra maybe 5 levels onto 100 and have those be crazy steep so people don't get mad, but you can just have this, the elite, legendary, uber committed race? Because one of the things I've heard people compliment about Havoc, the guy who got 100, is they commend him, they really respect how he just stays so focused. He's so determined, and he stays at it, and he doesn't waver. He doesn't die, he doesn't make mistakes, he just kills, and he gets 100, he grinds it, and people really, he doesn't get distracted, he doesn't make little, slip-ups, he just gets it, he's consistent. Is that because it doesn't take enough time? Because it's just a 7-day burst. For 7 days you just go hard and then it's done, and then you're level 100. If it was this sort of month-long or 2-month-long process, you knew it was going to take that long to get it, maybe it wouldn't be the same guy every time. Or maybe just more people would die in general. I don't think it would do harm to have this sort of epic, legendary goal in the game. And when I mean epic and legendary, I mean I will never get it. I can't get it. Because honestly, right now, I probably still couldn't get it because my stuff isn't good enough. But still, I like it where there's these crazy, almost seeming like impossible goals for those people. Because when those people stream and when they produce the content, you're going to be watching, and it's crazy, it's cool, it's fun to see those people, it's fun to see it happen. It's not that special anymore. It's kind of diluted. You see this page full of 100s, and I don't know. I'm not saying that the game is too easy or leveling is getting too easy. I just think that there should be something a little more exciting beyond that. What do you guys think? Would you mind a steeper XP curve? Would you mind some levels tacked on? Do you think it's just fine? Do you think 7 days is too long? Like I said, I'm not saying we should balance around people that can play all day every day and go crazy hard. I just think there should be something there. Do you agree? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you for watching.